The wish fulfilled there is a quiet power hidden within every human being, a power so close that most overlook it. People search for it in distant places, in lucky circumstances, in influential people, in years of hard struggle, or in some future moment when everything will finally be perfect. Yet the greatest secret has always been waiting within the depths of your own consciousness. The life you experience today is not merely a collection of random events. It is the visible expression of the invisible assumptions you have accepted as true. Every circumstance, every relationship, every success, every disappointment has first existed as an inner state before it appeared as an outer experience. Once you understand this principle, you no longer see yourself as someone waiting for life to change. You recognize yourself as the one who gives life its direction. The greatest mistake people make is believing that their desire belongs to tomorrow. They say, one day I will become successful. One day I will find love. One day I will have abundance. One day I will be healthy. Notice what these words imply. They place fulfillment in the future, and as long as fulfillment remains in the future, it never arrives. Tomorrow is a horizon that continually moves forward. If your happiness is always waiting for tomorrow, then tomorrow becomes a prison instead of a promise. The secret is astonishingly simple. You must dare to feel now what you wish to experience later. You must inwardly become the person you desire to be before the world has any evidence to support your belief. This is not pretending in the ordinary sense. It is not forcing yourself to repeat empty words while secretly doubting them. It is entering so deeply into the reality of your fulfilled desire that your heart accepts it as present fact. Think of a person who dreams of financial freedom. Most spend their days thinking about bills, debts, limitations, and lack. Every thought confirms the reality they wish to escape. They may occasionally imagine wealth, but only as something distant. Their dominant feeling remains one of scarcity. Since feeling is the language through which consciousness impresses itself upon reality, the outer world faithfully reflects the inner condition. It is not punishment, it is perfect correspondence. Now imagine that same person beginning to feel secure without waiting for the bank account to change. Imagine them walking with quiet confidence, making decisions from a sense of abundance instead of fear, appreciating what they already possess while naturally expecting greater prosperity. They are no longer emotionally dependent upon appearances. They have shifted their identity. The outer world, though slow to respond at first, begins reorganizing itself to match this new assumption. This is why the wish fulfilled is not about obtaining something. It is about becoming someone. Every desire is really the desire for a different state of consciousness. A person does not truly want money. They want the freedom, confidence, and security they believe money provides. They do not simply want recognition. They want the feeling of being valued. They do not merely seek love. They desire the feeling of being cherished and complete. Once you discover the feeling behind every desire, you realize that the feeling can be experienced now. The external object simply becomes the natural reflection of your internal transformation. Your imagination is not entertainment. It is the workshop where reality is formed. Every invention, every masterpiece, every achievement existed first as an unseen image within someone's mind. Before a building stood upon the earth, it existed in imagination. Before music touched the ears of millions, it echoed silently within the heart of its creator. Everything visible begins invisibly. The same law governs your personal life. If you consistently imagine yourself as defeated, life arranges circumstances to confirm that identity. If you consistently imagine yourself as confident, respected, and successful, life gradually reflects those assumptions. The world does not respond primarily to your words. It responds to your state of being. Many people ask, how long will it take? Yet this question itself reveals uncertainty. It implies that fulfillment is still absent. Time becomes important only to someone who believes they are separated from what they desire. But when you genuinely accept the wish as fulfilled, patience becomes effortless, because inwardly nothing is missing. You are no longer waiting. You are living from completion instead of longing. This does not mean you ignore practical action. Rather, action changes naturally. When you know who you are, your decisions arise effortlessly from that identity. A confident person behaves differently from someone who feels inferior. A loved person speaks differently from someone who feels abandoned. An abundant person thinks differently from someone who fears lack. The outer actions are simply the consequences of the inner conviction. Consider how actors completely enter a role. During the performance, they think, feel, speak, and move as the character they portray. For those moments, the role becomes real to them. Yet many people spend years unconsciously acting the role of failure, victimhood, limitation, or insecurity. They have rehearsed these identities so often that they mistake them for their true selves. Fortunately, no role is permanent. The moment you choose a different state and consistently occupy it, your life begins to change. The challenge is not in imagining greatness once. The challenge is remaining faithful to that inner vision when external circumstances seem to contradict it. Reality often presents echoes of yesterday's assumptions before it reveals today's transformation. If you judge your progress solely by appearances, you may abandon your new state too soon. Instead, remain loyal to the feeling of fulfillment. Let appearances catch up in their own perfect way. Every night before sleep offers a remarkable opportunity. As the mind grows quiet, the boundary between conscious thought and deeper awareness becomes thinner. In those peaceful moments, imagine a short scene that would naturally occur if your desire had already become reality. See it vividly. Hear familiar voices congratulating you. Feel the joy, gratitude, confidence, or peace that would accompany your fulfilled wish. Allow the scene to become so emotionally real that it feels like a memory rather than a fantasy. Drift into sleep carrying that feeling and let it impress itself upon the deeper levels of your consciousness. This practice is not mechanical repetition. It is emotional acceptance. Feeling always outweighs effort. A single moment of genuine conviction carries greater creative power than hours of forced affirmations spoken without belief. The heart accepts what the lips often deny. There will be moments when doubt whispers that nothing is changing. Doubt always measures possibility by current appearances. Faith measures possibility by inner certainty. Every great transformation requires the courage to believe before evidence exists. The seed beneath the soil gives no visible indication of the magnificent tree it will become. Yet hidden processes are already unfolding. Likewise, the moment you accept the fulfilled desire inwardly, unseen forces begin arranging people, opportunities, ideas, and circumstances in ways your rational mind could never predict. Do not concern yourself with how events will unfold. The human mind loves to calculate methods, but life possesses infinite ways of accomplishing what seems impossible. Your responsibility is not to design every step. Your responsibility is to remain faithful to the end. Once you know the destination, countless roads become available. Many fail because they constantly dig up the seed to check whether it is growing. They imagine success today, then tomorrow they declare failure because circumstances appear unchanged. They plant confidence in the morning and water fear by evening. Such inconsistency delays the natural unfolding. A gardener understands that growth requires trust. In the same way, your inner assumption requires loyalty until it becomes visible fact. Gratitude becomes natural when you live in the wish fulfilled. Instead of thanking life only after receiving something, you become grateful beforehand. This gratitude is not based upon physical evidence. It arises because inwardly you have already accepted possession. Such gratitude carries extraordinary creative power because it confirms completion rather than absence. Observe children at play. They enter imaginary worlds with complete conviction. A simple stick becomes a sword. An empty room becomes a castle. Their feelings are genuine because they surrender completely to imagination. Adults often lose this capacity, insisting that only what the senses report can be believed. Yet every major achievement belongs first to those who believe beyond appearances. The wish fulfilled does not encourage denial of facts. It encourages recognition that facts are temporary expressions of previous assumptions. Facts can change because consciousness changes. Today's circumstances are not permanent sentences. They are reflections waiting for a new cause. If you have experienced failure, do not identify yourself with it. Failure is an event, not an identity. If you have known rejection, do not make rejection your definition. If you have faced poverty, illness, loneliness, or disappointment, remember that these are conditions, not your essence. The state you occupy today can be abandoned tomorrow. Consciousness is infinitely flexible. Forgiveness also becomes essential. Many people continue recreating painful experiences because they emotionally relive old wounds every day. They keep returning to memories of betrayal, embarrassment, injustice, or regret. By continually feeling those emotions, they unconsciously renew them. Forgiveness is not approval of what happened. It is the decision to stop giving the past authority over the present. The moment you release yesterday's identity, you create space for tomorrow's reality to emerge. Never underestimate the influence of ordinary thoughts. Every assumption, no matter how small, contributes to the atmosphere of your consciousness. If throughout the day you repeatedly think, nothing works for me, you strengthen limitation. If instead you quietly affirm, everything is unfolding perfectly for me, you cultivate expectation of success. These simple assumptions gradually become the foundation upon which your experiences are built. Some imagine that changing themselves means becoming someone artificial. Quite the opposite. Living from the wish fulfilled reveals your authentic nature. Fear, insecurity, and limitation are learned conditions. Peace, confidence, love, creativity, and abundance belong naturally to your deepest being. Assuming fulfillment is not pretending to be someone else. It is remembering who you truly are beneath years of doubt. There is immense freedom in realizing that you are not controlled by circumstance. Circumstances may influence your emotions if you permit them, but they need not determine your identity. You can stand in the middle of uncertainty while inwardly resting in certainty. You can face temporary setbacks while remaining convinced of ultimate success. This inner stability becomes the foundation upon which lasting transformation is built. The fulfilled desire changes not only what you experience, but also how you perceive the world. Opportunities once invisible suddenly appear. Helpful people enter your life naturally. Ideas arrive unexpectedly. Coincidences increase. What others call luck often begins as an invisible shift in consciousness. Do not compare your journey with anyone else's. Every individual expresses consciousness in a unique way. Comparison weakens faith because it focuses attention upon external differences instead of internal truth. Your only responsibility is to remain faithful to the state you have chosen. Live each day asking a simple question. If my wish were already fulfilled, how would I think? How would I feel? How would I respond to this moment? Let your answer guide your inner reactions. Gradually, the new state becomes effortless. What once required deliberate attention becomes your natural identity. The greatest miracle is not changing the world outside you. The greatest miracle is discovering that the world outside has always been responding to the world within. Once this realization becomes living experience, fear loses its authority. You stop begging life for permission to succeed because you understand that creation begins in consciousness. So stop waiting for evidence before believing. Stop asking the future to convince you of your worth. Stop measuring possibility by present appearances. Enter inwardly into the reality you desire. Feel the joy before the celebration. Feel the peace before the solution. Feel the abundance before the wealth. Feel the love before the relationship. Feel the victory before the applause. What you consistently feel yourself to be, you inevitably become. Your wish is not waiting somewhere in the distance. It is waiting for your acceptance. The invisible always precedes the visible. The inner always shapes the outer. The fulfilled desire is not a distant dream, but a present state of consciousness. Occupy that state faithfully, lovingly, and persistently. Let it become more real than appearance. In time, the world will have no choice but to mirror what you have already become within. For life can only express the image you consistently hold of yourself. The moment you truly live from the feeling that your wish has already been fulfilled, you cease chasing destiny and begin expressing it. The life you once imagined as a distant possibility quietly becomes your everyday reality, proving that the greatest transformation has never been the changing of circumstances, but the changing of consciousness itself.